The Ampeg B200r Rocket Bass is a 200-watt hybrid solid-state and tube preamp combo bass amp. It has a 12AX7 tube in the preamp. The rest is solid-state, equaling 200 watts. It comes with a beautiful checkerboard Tolex, reminiscent of the 60s Ampeg amps with the classic logo. It comes with rolling casters for easy transportation, 2 portholes in the rear, and it has a horn or a tweeter. In the back there is the option of using the amp with the horn or without the horn, and it is made in China. Hello everyone, welcome to another review. I've got today my trusty Ampeg B200r combo bass amp. I decided to do this because it's such a nice little amp. So starting off, they don't make these amps anymore. In fact, the Rocket bass amps have made a comeback, but they aren't like they used to be before, if that makes any sense. These were actually produced in the, I believe it was the early 2000s, and maybe around 2010 was when it ended production. So I bought this amp used myself. I believe it was $300 back 5 years ago, I want to say, maybe. Okay, let's get into the controls. First off, of course, we have the main jack input at 0 dB, and then we have the negative 15 dB, which reduces the volume 15 dB, and that's mostly for active basses that have batteries and have more output on the actual bass guitar. We have contouring buttons. There's ultra low, ultra mid, and ultra high. The ultra low adds bass frequencies. The ultra mid scoops mid frequencies, and then the ultra high adds high frequencies. Then we have the gain knob. So this is actually a hybrid amp. It has one preamp tube, a 12AX7 I believe, in the preamp section, and then the rest is solid state. And then that's how we get the 200 watts. So it is a 200 watt amp. Next up we have the bass knob, the bass control knob, low mid control knob, high mid, and treble, followed by the master. So you do have to have the gain knob up if you want to have any sound coming out of this. And then the master is pretty much your volume control. We also have a line out XLR jack. So it is you can plug this in directly to your mixer. So if you're playing live, you don't have to mic up an amp. You can just go directly out. However, as you will see, I don't actually like the sound of the direct out. I love everything else about this amp except for the direct out sound. It's to me it sounds a little too harsh, too brittle even, and not too natural. But there is that option there if that's what you need. And then there is a headphone output jack, 1/4 inch, where when you plug it in, it turns everything else off except for the audio goes through your headphones, so you can practice late at night. You can practice playing when you need to be quiet. Yeah, and then the level knob for the direct output, and then of course the on and off switch. I do love how there's a blue LED light for the power. That is because my favorite color is blue. And that's just a side thing. And the Tolex is this blue checkerboard, lovely looking Tolex that covers the entire amp. And that is kind of a throwback to the old, I believe is the 60s Ampeg amps. But I like that. It has the silver face grill with the old Ampeg logo and the checkerboard Tolex, which gives it just such a nice aesthetic look. Okay, looking back there, the serial number, I believe it said somewhere in the serial number 2007, so I think that's when it was made. And it was also made in China. These were, so they're not USA made, but still great bass amps. Now, I'm gonna go through all the knobs and show you exactly what you get with messing with all those knobs. And of course, I'm gonna play through my trusty jazz bass. Check out my video to see what mods I've made on this. I am mic'd up with a Shure Beta 52A in just about the cone position. And let's get to it. First of all, I usually love to give it a lot of gain, which gets the preamp tube really cooking. I feel like that gives it a lot of good tone. Okay, let's engage the low, ultra low. I don't know if you can hear that through speakers or even headphones, but it does give it more. It does give it more thump. You can totally feel it just thumping through. That might be something that you can use in a live situation. So let's deactivate that now and give it the ultra mid. This does actually help, at least in my situation, when you want to slap. Usually when you're slapping your bass, you get a lot of annoying frequencies that you feel like is gonna break your amp. But when you scoop out the mids, you really feel like you can keep going and not hurt your amp. We'll disengage that now and give it the ultra high frequencies. So for that one, I feel like it would be mostly used if you have dead strings, if you have a bass that you just want it to be a little brighter, or if you're using, maybe you're playing metal, you want to engage some higher frequencies, that would be an easy button to hit for getting that. I feel like those buttons are just quick and easy tone fixes instead of having to mess with the knobs. I've kept all these in mid position, but now we're gonna go through and just get a feel of how much bass, mid frequencies, and treble we can get or take away when we move from the middle positions. So as you can tell from that demonstration, you can really adjust your tone to whatever you want, pretty much. the differences are pretty significant when switching those. I would say that the treble has the least amount of control there, but you can always add the ultra high if needed, or use the other knobs as needed. So I like to make it sound a little more modern because I feel like this amp is kind of a more vintagey sound. The guy who actually sold it to me, he's like, yeah, I was looking for more of a vintage sound, but this one wasn't quite doing it for me. So he ended up getting some other amp that I don't remember the name of, but he was going for an old school type sound. So this does kind of have that vibe, except I feel like it's a little more modern because of the controls that you can make this sound to whatever style you want. So let me start by taking some bass away. Maybe let's put it at 3.5, putting the low mid and high mid to 6, and putting the treble at 4. Let me make that even a little more drastic. So bass at 3, treble at 3, high mid and low mid at 6.5. And then let me do actually the opposite, make it sound a little more modern by cutting out some mids, giving it some bass and treble. So bass and treble will be at 6, low mid and high mid will be 3.5. Pull out a pick. Okay, let me put everything back to middle position at 5s, and then play with a pick again, just to hear the difference. Okay, now that we've done that, as you can tell, you can get pretty good EQ settings on there to make it sound a little more modern, a little more vintage, or just flat. So now I want you guys to check out what the DI sounds like. I will turn up the level of the DI to 2.5, and it's gonna go into the console. So I will mute the the mic sound and just go to direct. And yeah, so let me start without a pick. short little review of what this Ampeg Rocket bass amp sounds like. Yeah, so I haven't checked out the new Rocket amps. Actually, I may have plugged in a Guitar Center once and just didn't really like how it sounded just because I'm used to this one. But yeah, for all those reasons, I really love this amp, and I feel like I haven't needed a new amp since I bought this, because I can pretty much get any tone that I want on here. I mean, not everything, but a good majority of tones. Anyway, so that's the review for the Ampeg B200r. If you do happen to get your hands on one, play through it and see whether you love it or not. Might not be everyone's taste, but I sure do enjoy it. You can get used gear on Reverb if you're looking for something that they don't make anymore. There it is, Reverb. So I'm hoping that this can help you make your decision on older products that are not in production anymore. But anyway, thanks for checking out this video, and please like or subscribe and check out my other videos. I put them all in categories. So anyway, peace out and rock on.